Picture this. You're walking down a boulevard in your home country, and there's someone waving a flag of not your home country, and this person waving a foreign flag demands recognition, welcome, rights, privileges, and your money, your tax dollars at work. Mightn't you think, can we have a conversation about divided loyalties? And polite and educated and refined society would say, stop that, you, quit it. Inclusion. Diversity is our strength. America is a melting pot, the gorgeous mosaic of diversity. Picture yourself walking down the halls of Congress, and there are the offices of the different members of Congress, and they have an American flag outside their office door. That's to be expected. But some of them have the flag of another country. And you might say to yourself, isn't that odd? Can we have a conversation about divided loyalties? And people in polite society, people who are educated and refined, might say, stop that, quit it. Inclusion, diversity is our strength, the American melting pot, the gorgeous mosaic of diversity. Now walk into Congress. They're all there, 435 of them, plus 100 senators. And a president of a country that is not the United States is speaking. And nearly all the members of Congress are waving little flags, but not the American flag, but the flag of the man addressing them, president of a foreign country who wants lots and lots and lots of American tax dollars. And you might think to yourself, isn't that odd? Shouldn't we be having a conversation about divided loyalties? And polite people, educated people, refined people might say, quit it, stop it, inclusion, diversity is our strength, the American melting pot. But now imagine walking down the boulevard. Imagine walking through public schools. Imagine walking down the hallway of Congress. Imagine walking into Congress itself, and you're waving a flag, and it's not an American flag. It's the flag of the Vatican. Would some people say, what an odd thing to do? Can't we finally have a conversation about divided loyalties? I think the response will be very different from the previous examples. Stay with me, I've got a story to tell. Hi, I'm Jesuit Father Robert McTeigue, host every day of the Catholic Current, coming to you from the Station of the Cross Catholic Media Network. Let's take a closer look. Glad you're here. Catholics in America have had a very complicated history ever since there has been an America. Even in the time when there were British colonies, people were searching for religious freedom, huddled masses yearning to be breathe free, but not for Catholics. And it wasn't just because of some very ugly anti-Catholic bigotry, but also because it was taken for granted that Catholics had divided loyalties. They couldn't be supremely loyal to a republic or a constitution or even a monarch, really, because they were considered absolutely loyal to the one they referred to as the visible head of the church, the vicar of Christ on earth, the Pope in Rome. So Catholics were always, always, always viewed with suspicion. Let's jump ahead. While we're in the 19th century, a lot more immigrants are coming in who are Catholic. They meet some very ugly anti-Catholic bigotry, especially in the Boston area with the poor Irish and so on. Very long, complicated history. And Catholics in America were very, very keen to show that they really belonged, that they were true Americans, that they could be trusted. Yes, they have their peculiarities. They read from a different Bible, the Pope in Rome thing, but really, we're really real Americans. And very much of the American hierarchy fostered that notion that We bleed red, white, and blue just as any other American does. You can trust us. We're one of you. We're all in this together. Pope Leo XIII starts writing some documents about a heresy that he calls Americanism. Oh my. Leo is saying, look, we're really glad that you're in the United States. We're glad that you've got vocations, you're building churches, you're building religious communities, you're building schools, you're building hospitals. Good for you. But don't compromise your Catholic identity to be part of the American ethos. Be careful with that. A lot of the American hierarchy found that really embarrassing. They tried to sweep it under the rug. And I was told when I was in studies that Americanism was a phantom heresy. It just showed those European prelates really didn't get America. By gum, we were as American as everybody else. Illustration of that, World War I comes along. Take a look at what American bishops said about fighting in World War I. The word jingoism will come to mind. The American government wanted to have access to institutes of higher education around the country. There's predominantly men there, predominantly young men, predominantly intelligent men, and they would be great, officer material. So they wanted to get involved with the students and with the curriculum and so on. And a lot of institutions of higher learning, including very many Catholic ones, said to Uncle Sam, Be careful about this. This is ours." And Uncle Sam said, We'll give you dump trucks of money." Oh my goodness, why didn't you say so? Come on in. And that story really hasn't changed very much. It turns out that prominent Catholics liked to be liked, and they also liked to be financed by Uncle Sam. Now we get to the 1920s. Al Smith is the first Catholic to be a presidential candidate for a major ticket. Democratic Party. His vice presidential candidate was FDR, and he got clobbered. And one of the main reasons that he was clobbered was because uh, he was Catholic. And everybody knew the divided loyalties of Catholics. Catholics might be in America, they might pay taxes. Some of them might even send their kids to public schools. They might even fight in American wars. But when push comes to shove, so the story goes, you can't trust Catholics in America because they're Catholics first. Now, institutions, Catholic institutions, really tried to elbow forward to the front of the line for Uncle Sam's money, grant money from institutions that had values that were inimical to the Catholic faith. Every now and again, a pope would say, "You guys better be careful with that, okay?" Father Hesburgh of Notre Dame said, "Don't worry about it. We got this." What happens next? Jack Kennedy, the Catholic, is going to run for office. And he really doesn't want to get the Al Smith treatment. So what does he do? He has a meeting with a large group of ministers in Houston, and that gets sent all over the country. I'm going to summarize here. Basically, he says this: Sure, I'm Catholic, but the Catholic part of me is over here, and the American political part of me is over there. So he's going to compartmentalize. And he's really going to say, you don't have to worry about divided loyalties. You can trust me. I'm as American as you. And he didn't say it in so many words, but the implication was that Catholic thing isn't anything you have to worry about. Let's jump ahead about 20 years or so, Notre Dame. Mario Cuomo, the Catholic, governor of New York. And he's given a speech that was a watershed moment in Catholic American politics, taking it even farther than Jack Kennedy did. And this was that, well, of course, as a Catholic, I'm personally opposed to abortion, for example, but I have to be the governor of all the people and I can't impose my morality, et cetera, et cetera. And that gave cover for a lot of pro-abortion, self-identified Catholic politicians. And we see this again and again and again. Catholics in public life wearing their Catholic identity rather lightly. You didn't have to worry about their divided loyalties because everybody knew where their loyalty really was. And it wasn't with Catholic Church. So now we have politicians and policymakers and movers and shakers who say, not only do we want abortion from conception to birth and maybe even after, I'm looking at all the members of Congress who voted against the Born Alive Protection Act. I'm looking right at you. So contraception, abortion through birth, and infanticide, and now give us Holy Communion because reasons. And Catholic has become not a loyalty, but a kind of brand, a posture for wanting to distribute public funds to the people they like. And then we call that social justice. Well, where are we now in the United States? Because we are having questions about divided loyalties, about priorities, about which flag we're going to wave, about to whom or to what we will bend the knee. And I think Catholics in America have some hard decisions to make, and they have a lot of hard thinking to do. And that's going to take more time than I have right here, right now, in this particular episode. So I have an invitation for you. Join me on my podcast, The Catholic Current, via the Station of the Cross Catholic Media Network on your favorite podcast platform this Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And I'm going to go into detail on the sad story of Catholic politics in America. You don't want to miss out on that. And meanwhile, have a look at your own loyalty. Ask yourself, which flag would you wave first? And to whom or to what would you bend the knee? Think of these things, take them to prayer, talk about it with those you love. Go in peace, and please do pray for me, for I am a sinner. Thanks for watching today. I release new videos on Mondays and Wednesdays. Check out the archives for more videos. You can listen to my podcast at stationofthecross.com, and you can find my written work at heraldofthegospel.org. See